welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 16. The truth will set you off.
And next week is the season finale.
Yes.
So there's been quite a few episodes already.
Yeah, there has. There definitely has.
Like that's a decent amount of episodes in a season, like 16, 17.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because Melissa was talking about episodes the other day on her podcast. And, you know, back when they first started, they would do like 25 episodes a season.
I remember that.
And now we're lucky to get, like you said, like 15 or 16.
And Jersey's been more like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
It's not that much at all.
I know.
And they get paid per episode.
Yes, they do. And then they get bonuses based on the number of reunion episodes too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, this was a good episode. We start out where we left off with the ladies fighting about Mia's son's paternity test. Karen is maintaining that Mia has known for quite some time, and Mia says that she just found out about a week ago. And then Mia starts going in on Karen about her drunk driving and her sleeping with other men.
Yeah, it's just a big, they're just throwing insults.
Yes. And then the ladies say, I'm done with this. They're going back inside. And meanwhile, we're watching Ashley. She's in the back getting ready to perform her drag show. And she's excited that she finally has her package put together.
Listen, I think Ashley did an amazing job, and I thought that looked like a really fun time. But if she were really trying to look like a man, I feel like she should have had a white T-shirt underneath her suit jacket.
It wouldn't have been as effective when she ripped her jacket open.
Well, that's true. I forgot about that part. But I was watching it, I'm like, she still looks like a woman. She just looks like a woman in a suit because she's got these great boobs.
I think
she should have hid the boobs, but yeah, that makes sense.
I think that was part of the act. She wanted to get those girls out there.
She did, and she did it very well. And Karen looked like she was having a great time.
She really did. I did not expect that from her, right? The Grand Dame?
The Grand Dame, yeah.
Yeah. So Mia says to Jacqueline, I don't need to be around anybody who's going to question my lifestyles.
I don't because you're lying.
Right.
So you don't want to be around anybody who's going to question.
Yeah. And Stacey's over there talking to Mia, and Karen gets like a view of that. And she's like, Stacey's not by my side. Like, she's over there comforting Mia. Like, that's not good. Which I'm thinking, are you kidding me?
I totally agree with you.
I mean, that just really showed yet another side of Karen. And you know what? When we get to the end of the episode and Stacey starts talking, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all.
No, Karen's like a Teresa. Like, you ride with her or you're dead to her. You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that they were yelling and screaming like that, like, it's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. Listen, I know we know what Karen was doing. She's got a job to do, and she went in that day to do her job, to bring up the paternity test, and that's great. Mia, starts yelling things at her. Karen starts yelling back. They're both at fault.
Yeah.
They were both at fault. And I don't know what Stacey exactly was saying to Karen, but she was saying, like, you shouldn't say that.
She was saying that, like, you shouldn't be yelling at someone in public about a personal item like that, about the paternity and how she's a mother. And it's true.
And Stacey said, and she's right, it was like an ambush.
Yeah.
But that's what Housewives is now. We don't like it.
Right.
But that is what it is. And Stacey had to know that.
Well, I don't know if she did. I mean, if she watched it once or twice, she would know that. I mean, especially with some of the scenes with Candace and Monique and...
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I was surprised to see Kate Chastain there.
Me too. I'm not a huge Kate fan.
Me neither.
But I do know that they're close, and she did do that show. Remember that show? It was Giselle, Kate, Portia, and Hannah Berner.
During COVID.
It didn't last long.
Yes, where they did like a recap, like a remote recap.
Yeah. And after it ended, I think Kate was the first one to leave. And she basically called Portia out for her departure. Portia had something to do with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
That's right. They did do that
then
show.
the show just went away.
Yeah, yeah. Josh shows up, Ashley's boyfriend, and Giselle felt the need to introduce him to everybody, Uncle Lump and all of Ashley's family. I thought that was interesting.
It was interesting. I was kind of surprised that he hadn't met them already.
I know.
But, you know, it's hard to figure out how much time's gone by
That's
since
true.
that first blind date. Well, not blind date, but the speed dating. So
yeah.
But I was glad Giselle did that because he seems like a nice guy. I mean, who knows? Maybe they had met before, but they just did it for the show.
Right. No, he
But
does seem
Ashley's
like a nice
so
guy.
close with her family that I'm glad Giselle did that.
Yeah. So then we get to see a few drag queens and drag kings, and then they announce Ashtop, and she comes out dancing, and she really got that crowd going.
She did.
She really did. She pulls Karen out, to dance with her, and Karen sits down, and she turns around and she pulls her jacket open, and her titties were out with their pasties on them.
Yeah. She got into it. That was very good. Very good.
It was funny. It was funny. In her confessional, she said that she's always wanted to do this. And she was glad that she got to do it. And she, got to pay homage to her bisexuality.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do you, Ashley.
You do you, Ashley. Absolutely. It's all fluid. It's all fluid.
Yeah. So then Ashley asks the girls how they're doing. And Wendy basically says, well, everything Mia's been saying about Gordon is not true. And Ashley's like, say, bitch, you're lying. I was like, she just jumped on that real quick.
She did.
So
I'm sure they all had an inkling, but because she was, I mean, she still does. She still says it throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Even though now we've seen a very coherent Gordon talking to Ray. Obviously, with that diagnosis, you are going to have highs and lows. But
right.
She makes it seem like he's manic every 10 minutes.
Right. Right.
I did not like that car ride with Ink, but I know we're going to get there.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it either. Before that happens, Giselle meets up with Karen, Ashley, and Kiarna. And Karen is talking about the night before, and she was saying how it was a late night for her. Not only, did Mia know when they were in Panama that G was the dad, but she was making up all these stories. And Giselle's like, enough about that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. And I'm glad she ended it because I don't want to hear about it anymore either. Right?
Right.
And then Kiarna says that she's glad that she has this moment to chat with them. And she kind of opens up about what's going on with her and Greg. That's, since she moved in together, that it's not going all that smoothly. And she doesn't feel like Greg is supporting her in being on the show.
Yeah, it clearly has to be all about being on the show. And listen, I don't blame the guy.
Oh, I don't either.
I mean, neither one of our husbands would ever agree to that, want to be involved in that. I don't blame him at all. However, you gotta, I mean, you have to support her. If this is your person, this is your person.
Right, exactly.
But I guess at some point he could decide, I don't want to film. I'm sure that would affect her position on the show, but she'd have to just focus on something else, her business. She's got a beautiful business.
Right, right. Giselle tells her that she should never let anyone dim your light. And that, if he's making you feel small, one, that's a red flag. And two, you can't let that happen. And I think that there is a way to move forward with her. Like you said, I think she can still be on the show. And he doesn't have to, we don't have to see him that much, just an appearance here and there.
We very rarely see the husbands on Potomac. We really do. I mean,
right. I agree.
Very rarely see Ray. I mean, Ray took a while for him to appear this season for good reason.
Yeah, but I think, and we'll get to it when she goes out with him again. I think there's more to it than that. I do.
It does seem like it, yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, is in the car and she's picking up Ink at the airport. And she tells Ink that they're going to pick up the kids tonight. And because Jeremiah said that he wanted to see Ink. And then Gordon said, I don't know if you know, but, or G says, Ink says, I don't know if you know, Gordon texted me about the paternity test, a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he told you about the results and he thought you were going to tell me. So I guess Ink found out by the text message from Gordon, which, that's a little shady too, right?
What, that Gordon text him?
That Mia didn't tell him that Gordon did it, that she has the results, that he has to find it out from Gordon.
Right. Because Gordon probably knew. This is probably why, one, he texted Ink, and two, he asked Ray to go to lunch on camera.
Right.
Because he knew Mia had this information and she wasn't sharing it, and she was still perpetuating this potential lie.
Right.
That
right.
was an actual lie.
He says he doesn't believe that he took the test, and Mia said, well, there are results in my inbox.
See, I didn't like that Ink said that.
Yeah, but why would you go and get it done behind that's what Mia's saying. Like, why would he get it done behind my back? Well, because you were being shady about the whole thing. And he's like, I'm just going to put this to rest. That's why. That's why.
But he's a man. He could do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yes, he can.
He doesn't need you to go with him and hold his hand.
Right. And Ink is telling Mia that she really needs to set better boundaries with Gordon. I mean, he is the father of her children.
He is.
And her children are young. So I think she needs to set boundaries with Ink.
Exactly. I think that she needs Gordon for something. There's something there that she needs him for.
What?
Or, I don't know, but I think because if it weren't true, then she would have been out. She would have been gone. She wouldn't.
I wonder what
she
it
wouldn't
is.
be co-parent. She wouldn't be. She's not the type to, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. She's a good mom. I don't want to say anything about her being a mom, but I just feel like if she didn't need him for something, if there wasn't something there holding her like close to him, I don't know if it's for a storyline, so she stays on the show. I don't know.
I don't know either. Then we see Stacey goes to the Humane Rescue Alliance, and we find out that she's the ambassador for them. And she's going to be emceeing a fashion show where the ladies walk down the runway with a pet that can be adopted, which I thought, oh, that's a cute idea.
Very cute.
So Ashley came there to meet up with her, and she got to meet the dog that she's going to be walking the runway with. And Stacey and Ashley start talking about their divorces because that's something that they have in common.
Yeah.
And Ashley says that, if Gordon doesn't come around by the end of the week, then my attorney said that we're going to have to do a public claim, file a public claim. And we can either do a vanilla claim or we can do a spicy claim.
And with Michael, it could get real spicy.
It can get real spicy. But you know what? She's drawn that line in the sand and she's going to stick by it. And I'm glad because this has been going on a long time now.
Yeah.
And I think like she's finally strong enough. Stacey said she wants to get, to the end of her divorce also so she can start her life. And she said, that's why I waived my right for child support again.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I understand he's paying for everything now for your daughter. But like Ashley said, what if he gets remarried? What if he starts a whole new family? I just feel like you need something in writing.
I don't know why she's being so dense about this whole thing. I don't know why she's like, oh, no, he's good. I'll always take care of Arabella. Okay, well, in theory, yeah, but
like you want to believe he always will because that's his daughter and he always has up until now. But she's his only child right now.
Right.
Somebody else could come along and they might not be nice. And he could marry them and then they have children and she could try to ice your daughter out. I mean, it's like the age-old story. We've seen it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And Stacey says, listen, this is the right agreement for us.
I mean, she's sticking by it. She
is
committing to it. So
yeah, she is. I hope that she changes her mind. I really do. I don't think she is though.
I know. Then
we see Kiarna and Greg are in the car and they're driving together. And that was so awkward. That drive was so awkward.
So he clearly does not want to talk about their relationship on camera.
Right.
It's very clear.
Right.
And she keeps pushing. But you know what? maybe she keeps pushing. Maybe he never wants to talk about their relationship. And she figures if she's got him on camera, like
Right.
he has no choice.
Right. It could be.
Right?
It could be. Or maybe, because after watching this conversation, it was one in the car, but then when they got to the restaurant and he's like, we met down here a couple of years ago. And Greg is like, I feel like we keep arguing about the same things. And she's like, yeah, but it's because there's no compromise. Like you and I keep arguing about the same thing because we can't get past it. You want it your way. I want it my way. Like there's got to be a compromise. And basically he says, you have to calm the fuck down. And I think that was her answer right there. Like he's not willing to compromise.
Even when she said, what did she say? You shut me out. Or you don't hear me.
Right.
What did she say? Not you shut me down, but you.
She wants to be seen. She says, I want to feel seen. I want to feel safe. I want to feel like you value me and that you see the value in us being together. And then she starts crying and she's like, I don't feel those things.
Yeah.
And he's
like, no.
He's
no.
dismissive. He's just very dismissive.
Yeah.
And then he says, I don't dismiss your feelings.
That's what it was. I don't dismiss.
Yeah.
I don't dismiss.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, like, is he getting so defensive because he's on camera and he knows that people are going to have strong opinions about him? But you're not helping yourself by just being in denial and you're doing right now what she's accusing you of doing and you're saying you don't do.
Yeah.
I mean, camera for everybody to see.
I feel like, listen, they just got a house together. They've been together a couple years. I think this might just be a pivotal part in their relationship where she's finally realizing that I can't be myself. I can't live the life I want to live if I'm with him. And listen, better she figure it out now than after they're married and, have to
possibly
try and
have kids. Yeah.
Right. Right.
She said, I shrink when I'm around him.
Yeah. And that's sad.
That's sad.
Then we see Stacey shows up at Vivian's dress shop. I mean, we've seen Vivian quite a bit this season, right?
Yeah, but this was so messed up.
It was. 100% it was.
This poor Vivian.
I know. Did you see her face?
Yeah. Like what? I mean, all right, we'll get into it.
So they're there to pick out dresses for the runway show. It's called Strut for Strays, which I think is adorable.
Yep.
Karen texts Stacey declining the invitation. Wendy shows up and Ashley shows up. Stacey hands them each the picture of the dogs that they're walking with. She says that she only has 10 people walking the show. And then she lets them know that Karen, declined. She said she would support the event, but she wasn't going to participate because of the way she treated her the other night. And she took me aside.
Her words and action.
Right. And Wendy jumped right on that bandwagon. Like, I understand what Karen was talking about. I was like, Wendy rides hard for Karen.
She sure does.
She always has.
Yep. I mean, it was Wendy, Karen, and Candace against the rest of them for a while.
Yeah, she really does. Well, then we see Giselle shows up, and Giselle has a totally different spin on why Karen's not coming, because she was with Karen when Karen got the text message to meet them at Vivian's. And Vivian's Karen's friend, and you only know. And she's like, no, I've known Vivian longer than I've known Karen.
And she said that. Yeah. I mean, the first scene we met Stacey was at Vivian's, and she said it right then and there.
Yeah.
I remembered what I was going to bring up. Thank God. Okay.
Say it now before you forget.
Okay. Thank you. I saw a clip on Instagram today, and it must be from a past BravoCon. And Andy asks Alexia from Miami, of all people, what franchise do you think has the worst fashion? And she said, I think it's a tie between New Jersey and Potomac. Now, first of all, asking Alexia this question is ridiculous because she dresses out of like the Venus catalog, literally.
Yes, she does.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying.
Well.
And I was so as I was watching Potomac, I thought about this because I was like, Potomac, they really do have some badass fashion. They have
Yeah.
bad. I don't mean badass like good badass. I mean
Yeah.
bad.
Bad. Yeah.
When they were all walking into Vivian's store, I'm like, what the fuck is she wearing? And then the next one would walk in. I'm like, the fuck is she wearing?
I know.
It was bad. They do have bad fashion. And listen, I guess people think that I think the Jersey housewives dress fine, but I'm from New
Because
Jersey.
we're Jersey. We dress like they do.
Exactly.
I mean, what is there to hate on?
I know. I like it. I like it all.
I do too. I do too.
All right. I had to get that out.
Yeah, no, I get it. So she goes on to say that, listen, you could have just like given Karen an FYI and let her know that, we're going to be doing this at Vivian's. Listen, I will acknowledge the fact that she invited them the day before to come meet her at Vivian's and did not even ask them,
But don't they all get a call sheet? Like they know when they're filming.
Yes, they do.
So maybe they don't know where they have to go, but they knew they had to film that day. So who cares where you got to show up? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is a way, though, to ask somebody to walk a fashion show with a pet. I mean, listen, Giselle, she comes up with that cockamamie, what if I had a past trauma or if I was allergic to dogs? And Stacey's like, well, do any of those apply? And she's like, yeah. I'm not going to be able to do the fashion show. And then the producers are like, well, what was your trauma? She goes, well, I may have been bitten by a dog. I mean, that may be a lie or it may not. Well, we know now that it's a lie. You were not bitten by a dog.
Exactly. She's so like, this is the Giselle I don't miss. She was saying the stupidest stuff. Stacey does not owe Karen a phone call because she's going to film at Vivian's.
No,
that's
she does
her
not.
Friend, if you don't want to come, you don't want to be part of this. Oh, and then she brought up the G&A event. You didn't donate. And Stacey said, you kicked me out. And good for her.
Right.
And then she said, we've had 2 G&A events, and I don't know how you sleep at night. I'd love to know what kind of charitable donations Giselle has made to her fellow castmates over the years.
Yeah, because when Giselle said that to Stacey, oh, I didn't know you did charity.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the look on Wendy's face? She's like, what?
Yeah. Like, say something, Wendy. Say something.
No, she wouldn't. And even when Giselle was saying that ridiculous thing about Karen giving her the FYI about Wendy's like, I don't necessarily, in her confessional, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, what do we need, permission?
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Ashley agreed with it.
I know.
Ridiculous.
It was totally ridiculous. Stacey said, I thought we were all like-minded. And Giselle says, well, we're not. And in her confessional said that Karen seems to want friends that just blindly follow her no matter what. And that is very, very true. Giselle said, I'll be there on time and I will write a check. Stacey said, good. And you can sit with Karen, which was perfect. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Giselle was ridiculous. I mean, not one person could say her behavior during that conversation was okay.
No, definitely not.
She was just looking to needle Stacey about something, anything.
Yeah.
Because she stepped out of line.
I actually like Stacey. I would like to see Stacey another season without TJ.
TJ.
Yeah. So then we see Wendy at home and she's doing some work and Happy Eddie comes in. She says she's
working. He is the number one guy in the group.
Well, in this group he is, but it's not that hard in this group because look at what we got.
I know, but he still has it.
She said she's working on season 2 of the Dr. Wendy show. I've never seen it. I guess it's on YouTube. I think it's a YouTube series.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it though. I haven't seen it either, but I am going to look for it.
Eddie tells her that she needs to stand for this announcement because he's got some good news for her. And she's like, are you going to ask me to marry you? Like, she was all confused. So he's like, well, I just got off the phone and you're going to film an episode of the Dr. Wendy show at the White House. And the look on her face. And he's like, do you want to know who you're going to be interviewing? And she's like, yes. The White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre. She's the first Black woman to hold the position of White House press secretary. So she's very excited about that, which good for her.
Absolutely.
I mean,
She should be excited. That's amazing.
invite to the White House. That's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Because it's not like she's like on a,
Right.
mainstream show. Like,
Right.
this.
I think she might be friends with her, to be honest with you, because isn't that the high-ranking person that gave her that award from the
Oh, I
White
don't
House?
know. I don't know. Probably.
I think she might be friends with her.
Probably.
They're in
Yeah.
Potomac,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she was, she does do broadcasting.
And she was a professor, of, I forget what it was. It
Political science, maybe?
Yeah, but like Black studies, I think.
Yes,
Like,
I think you're
so
right. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Well,
she's definitely
yeah. She has four
well
degrees.
versed.
Four
Yeah,
degrees. So, yeah.
yeah, she's well versed. She's highly intelligent. She's likable,
Yeah.
very likable.
Yeah. So then we see Stacey meets up with
Well,
Mia.
he asks her, "Who are you gonna bring?"
Yeah, that happens later. We could go into that
Okay,
now.
okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So then Stacey meets up with Mia and they get there and Mia's like, "Are we having a glass of wine or something?" And Stacey's like, "Yeah, let's get a glass."
Yeah, the sooner the better.
So Stacey asked Mia how she's doing, and she says there's good days and there's bad days. I take it as it comes. Gordon is having a little bit of a spiral. Again, I don't know. I
It's
really
funny
don't
because
know.
every time we see Gordon, he's not in a spiral.
Mia says she's upset that Gordon's sharing, their personal family information with non-family members, which, I mean, you're already kind of sharing it with the world.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's a do as I say, not as I do person, for sure.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Just like Karen.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Karen. So the next bomb comes out. Well, Stacey says when I met Karen before I was introduced to this group, Karen specifically told me some things about you and how I should avoid you because you are not Potomac. And she's like, Mia says, is Potomac drunk driving, swinging on bar stools, crashing your car into trees, continuously getting DUIs? What exactly is Potomac? And I was like, oh,
Those are fighting words there.
yeah.
I don't blame her, though. I don't blame her.
I don't either.
Because if somebody told me that somebody said that about me, I'd be looking to go real down and dirty.
And then she said, she also told me not to be friends with Wendy. She said, Wendy is completely self-absorbed and I should never trust her. She's only out for herself. Wendy says, I would like to share this moment with my friends. I think, that's when Eddie asks her, like, who do you want to share this with? And she's like, well, I think I'd like to invite Karen because she took me to Surrey County when she got the key to the city and Queens recognized Queens. Wait till you see what Karen said about you, Wendy.
Yep. And you know what? Think about the timing. Stacey is so new to this group. So she is meeting Karen after the seasons where Wendy, Candace, and Karen were like a trio. And Karen's still saying that shit about Wendy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I thought that was wild too. And she goes on to say that, Karen was so proud that she bought her family's home because they were slaves on the land and now they own it. And, the White House was built by slaves. So I can bring her to the White House and she can see like the grandest house of the land. And that was built with slaves. And I was like, oh, this is not
going to
good.
go well.
No, it's not going to go well. And then the next week, we're going to see the fashion show. I do see that the animals have gone amok.
They have.
I see some dog poop on the floor.
Yeah.
I see Karen walking into court.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't see, though? I did not see anything about the White House, so I don't know if we're going to get to see that.
Oh, I thought it was in the promo for it. Yeah, I mean, gosh, I hope so. If they cut that out to show the dogs pooping in the fashion show, I mean, come on, Bravo, get it together.
I hope that's in there because that's something I want to see.
Yeah, that's major.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we do see that. Hopefully. I mean, it is an hour. We have another hour left. Well, probably 44 minutes or something. So, yep, next week is the season finale.
Crazy.
I'm glad, though. I think, yeah, I'm glad to wrap this one up, see how many reunion episodes we get.
I know.
I don't think we'll get 3. I really don't.
I don't think we're going to get 3 either. I mean, Karen's not there. If Karen
Right.
were going to be there, sure, because we could have a whole episode about her.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 could fill it, But if she's not there, I mean,
I
how
know.
much can they talk about it? They probably can't talk about it.
No, I agree. I don't think they can.
Yeah.
Especially since at that point she hadn't been sentenced yet and she was going to rehab. And the word
Right.
out today is that they are casting for New York. We saw that online. So there's a casting call out for New York Housewives. So
I
any
wonder
of our
if it's
listeners,
just a couple. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's probably just a couple. I don't think they're, I mean, Andy's already said he's not going to scrub the whole cast,
He loves Jenna.
He does love Jenna. He was surprised she came back.
And I think he loves Raquel now, too.
Yeah.
I hope Jessel stays.
I want Cy back. I want Uba back, too. I think we'll see it.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
I could just honestly do without Erin and Brynn.
Yeah, well, Erin was, she wasn't pregnant yet. She wasn't pregnant when they filmed it.
I think she's a tryhard. I don't want to see, I don't want to see you acting.
No.
I just live your life. Like, you live in New York City. This isn't OC. You live in New York City. Live your life and let us see it.
I would hope that this season is a learning experience for the entire cast.
I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope. We'll have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, but the reunion should be good.
Oh, yes. The reunion should be good. I did see on, I think it was Instagram, Brynn was flying someplace today, so she's still posting. I don't know where she was flying to. She didn't say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's, going over to Europe to see her ex. Isn't that where they are?
Yeah, they're in London. Okay, am I keeping you up?
No, I'm so sorry. That was ridiculous. Sorry. It was the nail appointment that threw me off.
Okay. All right, I guess until next time, thank you for watching. Please watch and follow us. Bye.
Bye.